Stories from around the corner.
And around the country.
You're listening to All the Best.
Proudly supported by the Art Gallery of New South Wales.
You're listening to All the Best from FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Gabriella Acaria. This week, we explore taking leaps of faith. But before we get into this week's stories, I want to acknowledge that I'm recording from stolen and Gadigal land and pay my respect to Gadigal elders past and present, and also recognise that the area where FBI Radio is situated, Redfern, has long been a place of storytelling, strength, resistance and resilience for First Nations communities. This week we explore stories all about trying something new, whether it be plunging, jumping, riding or swimming. The first leap of faith I probably ever took was learning how to ride a bike, which is a little bit of a touchy topic for me because my dad was a professional cyclist and I still don't know how to ride a bike. I started off with the training wheels and I never quite got off them. It's just like riding a scooter, I was told. It is not like riding a scooter. I couldn't quite get past the balance and still feel a little bit excluded and berated from the rest of the world, especially with the Lime bike epidemic. I can't just hop on and head home. Jeffrey and I definitely share this sentiment. As an adult, he has no idea how to ride a bike. So, he gives himself 2 months to learn. The end goal? To coast around bike-friendly Amsterdam on holiday. We ride along with Jeffrey as he wrangles thrills, spills and two wheels. And maybe he inspires you or me to get off those training wheels. There are some swear words in this story.
So, you know that saying, it's like riding a bike? Yeah, well, I have no idea how that feels. Because at 25 years old, I don't know how to ride a bike. That changes today. I want to know what it's like to feel the wind rushing past my helmet, zipping around corners. People tell me it's a skill that I should know and that I'm missing out on. Pretty soon, I'm also going to have my first ever Euro summer. I'm visiting one of my best friends in Amsterdam, and I want to explore its beautiful canals the way that the city should be explored, on two wheels. So the goal is to get on a bike in Amsterdam and to not completely stack it. But I've only got 2 months, so I need to get on my bike. I'm not really sure where to start, so I enlist the help of my friend James. When he's not studying to become a teacher, he's an avid cyclist who rides upwards of 100 kilometres on Sundays for fun.
Yeah. Hi, this is James. Hi, James.
Hey, how are we doing?
It's a crisp autumn afternoon. We're in a grassy spot in Callan Park, away from the flying footballs of the under-8 soccer practice, and the sunlight bounces off Sydney's Parramatta River. I'm on one of his spare bikes, and we're just going to have a go. Seat adjusted, helmet clicked in, fingers gripping the handles for dear life. He positions the pedals just so and tells me to push. And it goes something like this. I stepped onto my right pedal, but kind of forgot to step on my left. And now me and the bike are both laying horizontal. Nothing bruised, just my ego. James helps me make some adjustments. I sit up with my chest tall and proud. My hands steady the handlebars. Then, while he's sitting on his bike, James tells me about momentum. Counterintuitively, if you pedal slowly, you're more likely to lose control of your bike. And if you pedal quickly, well, I can't hear the rest, because James is zipping off down the path, assured and in control. Watching him ride, I'm taken by the feat of engineering that is a bicycle. The wheels are razor thin, but they keep the bike upright at a gallop. And I just think, I want to do that. Right, so I've just got to keep pedaling. Momentum. The rest of the hour is an exercise in trial and error. James is holding the back of my seat to stabilise me. This really means he's running frantically behind me as I curve out wide zigzags in the grass. I finally managed to eke out a couple of metres by the end of our session.
Okay. Whoa! Okay. Nice. So good.
That took a while.
Hey, we fucking got there.
Fuck.
And within the hour.
Within the hour, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice work.
nice.
That was
Nice.
sick.
Thank you so much.
Well done, well done.
Oh my God, you're a great teacher.
I hope
And you
so.
will be a great teacher. Whoa.
It struck me that when you did it, you said, I'm just not going to think about it. That tells me that, like, your instinct, once you do think about it.
Then I line up a few more dates with friends on sunny weekends. We laugh, we catch up, and each time I get a couple of meters further.
Right, this is the hill. Yeah, I'm all good, yeah. Oh my God! Ah! I'm just stopping for a bit. And in anticipation of the rest. Ooh, this is nice too. This is really nice.
Turning still out of the question, each time I twist the handlebars, my whole body tips over. But I remind myself that patience is key.
What?
Celebrated too early.
I was like, I'm done.
And then I stop. Work gets busy. My personal life gets busy. 1 week off turns into 2, turns into a month. I ghost my editors for this piece. I'm so sorry. In all honesty, I think I'm frustrated. Not that it's a competition, but I feel like I'm pedaling like crazy at the bottom of the hill, while everyone else is at the top. Learning something new is hard, especially when you're an adult. Even if there's people to help you out on your journey, there's no one forcing you to do this but you. In a world which values comfort and convenience, motivation is hard to keep. It's just easier to stick to what you know. But it doesn't feel good. I hear voices in my head saying, "You are forever doomed to take the bus." I lived a pretty sheltered childhood, never broken a bone, and I'm not about to start now. I grew up with this fear of pain, physical pain, but also of just looking stupid. I remember in kindergarten, when I missed the third rung on a set of monkey bars, that fall was the longest 2 seconds of my life. But I can't rob myself of the future and what I want by being self-conscious of making mistakes in the present. I know that in my logical head. I just need my body and my emotional self to understand it. All right, false start. This time, I want to find a bike of my own. And where else to find a bike but that land of treasures, Facebook Marketplace. I spot a tiny little fixed gear bike, the colour the cherry red of a Dr. Pepper can.
Thank you.
And in my eyes, it's beautiful. With my new ride, the following thought enters my head. Just for fun, why don't we just try to go in a straight line? I remember what James taught me. Momentum, positioning. I push on the pedals,
Oh my God.
and it goes something like this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just got a bike off of Facebook Marketplace for $50. And then I just rode fucking like 100 meters on the fucking bike path. Oh my God. I can't believe, I think it's beginner's luck, man. Like, I don't know how I did that. I can't believe this. Wow, I'm like lost for words. This was so much fun. Oh my God, as if it was that easy all along. I think sometimes as adults, at least for myself, I sort of talk myself into like a negative spiral that I can't do it and it's all too hard. You do have to take that first step and be prepared to fall. I feel bad for ghosting my editors. I'm so sorry.
To this day, I'm still not sure what it was about that night, but things just clicked into place. I feel incredible. And with that, we are back on the horse, or rather, back on the bike. Over the next few weeks, I ride up and down the hills of Sydney Park and practice roundabouts till I'm dizzy. I do my very first, very halting ride to the shops. When I open up my groceries, half the eggs are smashed, but I resolve to still use what I can in an omelette. And then, before I know it, armed with my new skills and a prayer, the day comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are all very welcome to Amsterdam, where the local time is 5:15. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the captain has switched off the fasten.
It's hard to overstate just how many bikes there are here in Amsterdam. In a city with more than one bike for each of its 800,000 people, the streets are ruled by two-wheeled overlords. And they fly by, thick and fast. Soon after I land, I see a guy speeding past, and I have to do a double take. He has one hand holding his phone, the other eating a sandwich. Let me just adjust my expectations. Do what I can. I head into a bike shop off the Prinsengracht Canal.
Awesome. You do have 2 locks and have the insurance.
Yep. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds good.
Awesome. Place where to put the key.
Check. Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
And then...
As I stuff my tote bag in the front basket, I'm getting a little nervous. This is the moment I've practiced for. All the thrills, spills, and excitement of the last 2 months comes down to this. I kick the pedals back, sit straight up as James taught me. All right, here we go.
Oh, this feels amazing. Seriously.
It's easier than I thought. Bikes have right of way here, over pedestrians and cars, so I feel more free exploring the city.
Here in Amsterdam, had a bit of a stroopwafel accident earlier today, so some of the caramel has dripped down my white pants, which is annoying. I haven't got a destination in mind. Just kind of riding and seeing where the bike takes me. Well, the canals are so pretty.
And it really is beautiful. For the next 3 days, it's me and my bike. On Wednesday, I park it outside the Rijksmuseum and pass by postcard-perfect houses with their narrow, tall facades. On Thursday, we go leisurely through Vondelpark, one of the city's biggest public parks. Couples canoodle on the grass, young people pop open bottles of Prosecco. The greenery is lush and gorgeous. On Friday, the bike comes with me to a cute wine bar on a canal as my friend and I eat cheeseburgers. Overall, I don't think I'm yet ready to eat a sandwich on my bike. But in Amsterdam, it's been a soft, easy, slow journey. And unexpectedly, it feels like a reprieve in between the craziness of Ryanair flights and tight transfers. I'm trying to let things take the time that they take. Sometimes, by doing that, you get to slow down, feel more free, and see some beautiful sights. And with the help of others, as long as I keep moving, keep pedaling, I'm doing all right. In fact, I love it so much that in Berlin, I have an idea.
Hello, it is 2 a.m. and I thought, what better way to get home from the club than to take a bike? Fahrradstraße means bike road. Fahrradstraße. Oh my god, guys, I'm having so much fun. It's the best thing ever.
Now, this program does not condone drinking and riding. But you know, when in Berlin.
Turn right toward Holzmannstraße, then turn right onto Holzmannstraße. Then turn left onto Lichtenbergstraße.
So I almost made it to my hostel intact. But in my state, I thought that I saw a ramp up to my street, and there just wasn't. It was just curb. Clearly, I still have more to learn.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Gabriella Acaria. That story was produced by Jeffrey Khoo. The supervising producers were Evana Ho and Mel Bakewell. So, I obviously can't ride a bike, but what I can do and really enjoy is jump. Something about the simplicity, just going for it, literally a leap of faith. Into a pool, a waterfall. Unlike riding a bike, that is something I can do and really enjoy. I forget about my fear of heights and think instead about the refresh of the water below me. On uni exchange in Samoa, Matt takes the plunge for the first time.
When we're standing on the edge of the unknown, we tend to ask ourselves a lot of questions. What's out there? Am I ready to face it? Who will I be if I make it to the other side? We're faced with leaps of faith all the time. It's a normal part of life. But what happens when the leap is far greater than you expected?
Funny story, I'm glad you asked.
That's Matt. He's studying conservation biology at Monash University. His leap of faith appeared in the summer of 2023, when he was selected to take part in Monash's Global Immersion Guarantee. It's a 2-week international study trip, which offers the chance to learn outside your standard classroom setting. Matt was heading to Samoa, a Polynesian island nation in the South Pacific Ocean.
Samoa was actually my second preference. My first preference was Italy, but Italy basically filled up instantly. But then I looked into Samoa quite a bit. I was like, actually, this country seems really cool. But I was, really excited just to be leaving the country because I'd never done it before. So I was really looking forward to, experience life in a different setting.
While they were there, Matt and the other participants studied at the University of the South Pacific on the island of Upolu. They would also go on regular field trips around the island, learning about Samoan culture firsthand. On this specific day, the group travelled to Faliseela, a small village on the southern side of the island. When the students arrived, the Matais, which is the Samoan equivalent of a chief, held a lesson on sustainability efforts in the village. Afterwards, the group was split up and sent off to complete different tasks in the area.
My group was tree planting, which I was like, okay, cool, tree planting. I do that, in Australia anyway. This is going to be interesting, I guess.
There weren't many trees to plant, so Matt's group finished well ahead of schedule.
We were lucky to have the Matai in our group. He came with us, and he's like, man, you guys did a really good job of that. I want to see something really cool. So we're going through this jungle, and we start hearing the sound of rushing water. We were planting next to a small little creek, but we didn't expect it to lead to a waterfall.
The waterfall was nestled among thick plant life. It cascaded down a steep slope, standing about 10 metres high. For reference, that's as tall as a 3-storey building. At the bottom, there was a small pool that funneled the water out into the creek.
We were examining the views, and then we just started hearing the sound of wet footsteps running closer and closer towards us, as one of the local kids basically did a somersault off the edge of the waterfall and swan dived into the pool. And of course, we were really concerned. We're just like, oh my god, what is this kid doing? And the Matai's just laughing, and he turns and looks at us, and he just goes, okay, cool, who's next? We thought he was joking, but he was just looking at us with complete seriousness. And just my brain's just rushing through, there's no way I'm jumping off a waterfall, no way. I didn't realize my right hand had actually already gone up.
The Matai smiled and led the group up the waterfall. During the climb, the staff member who was with the group was starting to panic.
He was frantically calling the head staff member hey, can they do this? Is this allowed? Are they covered by insurance if they hit a rock or something?
His questions weren't helping Matt's nerves. Hundreds of thoughts were rushing through his head, but one stood out from the rest.
I've been scared of heights for as long as I can remember. Yeah, I am. I don't even like flying.
Looking over the cliff, he could see the large rocks waiting for him at the bottom. Funnily enough, though, it wasn't the impact that scared him. It was the jump itself. The idea that if he left the safety of the ground, he'd never find it again. That he'd be falling forever once he took the leap. Stepping closer to the edge, Matt's heart was racing with the water.
I'm swinging my arms back and forth why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I can't do it. I'm going to back off. I just landed in the pool. My legs hit, like, at an angle, so my spine sort of, like, ricocheted and hit the water. But I was fine. I got out of it.
Other than needing a change of clothes, the experience gave Matt a change of heart.
Jumping off that waterfall really gave me confidence and realised that, you know, if I don't push myself out of my comfort zone, I'm not going to actually grow as a person. I'm glad I jumped. I would do it again, even though I'm terrified of heights. I jump off one twice as large, probably.
Matt hasn't jumped off any other waterfalls since Samoa. Instead, he's used the experience as a guide for approaching new opportunities.
Jump off a waterfall, literally and figuratively. Literally because it's a really adrenaline-pumping activity, and figuratively because who knows what you're missing out on if you don't say yes. Once you jump off a waterfall, there's nothing that can really harm you. Well, there's some things that can harm you, but the thought of jumping off a waterfall can't really harm you. Just take all the chances you get, really. Jump off a waterfall.
You're listening to All the Best, proudly supported by the Art Gallery of New South Wales on FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Gabriella Acaria. That story was produced by Alannah Vidic-Worth. Special thanks to Yannick Rogers and Dan Simo. If you think jumping into a body of water is risky, swimming in Australia is always taking a leap of faith. I particularly resonate with this. As a kid, I feel like I was fearless. Now, the waves are something scary. They could take you away. You could get caught in a rip. It's just the nature of our beaches. This was something that resonated for Craig. But come with him as he overcomes his fear of the water and dives into the coral world.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Bridgend Beach, but it is notoriously dangerous. It does tend to have a lot of rips, it does tend to get strong currents, and over the years a fair number of people have drowned there. I didn't know this at the time. I was there swimming, mucking around in the waves, in between the flags. Behind me was the beach. In front of me, looking out to sea, were the surfers. A little wave came in. All of a sudden I couldn't see the surfers. And then hang on, where am I? What's going on? I turned around and I'm hundreds of metres away from the surfers. It was so quick. I had been caught in a rip that had dragged me out and I freaked out. And I just started swimming towards shore. But got nowhere because I was swimming straight into the rip. Waved to the surf lifesavers. He took me back in. Then they closed the beach. It was that dangerous, they just closed it for the rest of the day. I didn't go in the water for 20 odd years after that happened. I had the event and almost drowned, and I stayed out of the water, but I didn't see that as fear. The only time I thought, oh, that might be something that's an issue, was when I was in a river with some friends of mine. We went up to the river on a really hot day. It's a very, very gentle river. It was clearly shallow. My friends went in the water with their toddler. They were just mucking around. And I got in the water. The water got to about my knees. And I stopped. And I went, I'm not going any further. I can't go any further. And it was clearly safe. So I was just like, okay, this is a thing. Around about this time, my partner got a job in Timor-Leste, in East Timor. I knew there was going to be snorkelling involved in moving to Timor, to a tropical island that's got amazing coral reefs. And I just went, well, if I'm going to be snorkelling, I'm going to need to be able to swim. So I went and did adult swimming lessons before we moved to Timor. In those lessons, we started in the kids' pool. You know how, as a kid, we learn how to float on our backs? I can't do that. The instant you tell me to lie on my back and float, I sink like a stone. You've got to relax, and so I don't relax, and so then, because I've tightened all my muscles, I just drop. I sink. But other than that, I ended up doing like 50-metre laps by the end of those adult swimming lessons. I was fine. And because I'd made the decision that this was about not learning for the first time, but re-engaging with swimming, and obviously because we started in the shallow pool, I didn't have a problem. So we lived in Timor for 3 years. We used to wander down to a beach 5 or 10 minutes from our house. We'd swim out 50 metres and we had coral reef. I don't feel like I'm swimming when I'm snorkeling. I get sucked into that world and forget. And then I just lose track of time. I feel like I've been there for like 3 minutes and it's been 45. Being able to just watch all these different creatures and animals just be and just do their thing. And I'm irrelevant.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Gabriella Acaria. That story was produced by Katerina Fraga Matos. The supervising producer was Mel Bakewell, and a special thanks to Craig Garrett for sharing his story. Now, one leap of faith I've never taken is the stand-up comedy route. I had a friend who did it for a bit. He said to me, "Gabby, you should try it. You'd be really good at it." And I thought, no. It takes a certain person to be good at stand-up comedy. For Nathan, this was his dream. He wanted to continue the comedy duo that he founded in primary school. But he sort of founded something else, based on community and connection.
This was me and my friend Marcus at age 10. Performing a self-written song about egg and bacon rolls. This is my first taste of that sweet sound. Laughter. Oh yeah, baby. I could get used to that. We played Mona Got Talent 3 years running, and audiences flocked to see us play. This was it, I thought. Marcus and I against the world. The next unstoppable comedy duo. But soon, Marcus lost interest in our comedy dream, and our band split up. Flash forward, and in year 7 I met Ricky, and we made a brand new hit song called Kakapo, about an endangered New Zealand parrot. This was it, I thought. Me and Ricky against the world. The next unstoppable comedy duo. But soon, like Marcus, Ricky also lost interest. It was at this point that I began to wonder if I was forcing people to become part of my dream. Was it not everyone's dream to become a musical comedy duo? Was it time for me to become a comedy uno? Flash forward 4 years and I'm named school captain. Finally, my chance to shine again. I treated every speech like it was my own personal comedy routine. And after my farewell speech, I was flying. My dreams had never felt so close. So I went to a place where all comedy dreams are made. I started my degree in arts and business. Right. The degree wasn't what I expected. And I didn't find a Ricky. Nor did I find a Marcus. In fact, I didn't find anybody. 3 years I spent there and I didn't come out with a single friend. Not that that's a problem, but I was just expecting that I'd find someone like me. And now I'm doing nothing. I'm a failure. But as they say, the night is always darkest before the dawn. And one morning I found out about a school called Improv Theatre Sydney. I saw lots of funny people involved, people I knew who'd had actual success in comedy. I thought, if all these funny people are involved, then maybe I'll be able to find my new Marcus. Well, it turns out I didn't find my Marcus, or my Ricky. But I did find a Steph, and a Davis, a Jonah, a Hayden, an Ari, a Jet, a Declan, a Kate. I found a community who made it feel like I didn't need a duo.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Gabriella Acaria. That story was produced by Nathan Roach. All the Best is made at FBI Radio on Gadigal land in association with SYN and 3RRR on Wurundjeri, Woi Wurrung and Boon Wurrung lands, and 8CCC on Arrente and Warramungu lands. The All the Best executive producer is Mel Bakewell. Katerina Fraga Matos is our events and partnerships coordinator. Kwame Slusher is our production manager. Patrick McKenzie is our community coordinator. And a special shout out to all the volunteers who helped to make All the Best possible. Shining Bird composed our theme music, and Annie Hamilton designed the artwork. We're heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network. And we're made possible by the Art Gallery of New South Wales and the Community Broadcasting Foundation. You can find our full archive of almost 700 episodes at allthebestradio.com. I'm Gabriella Acaria. Thanks for listening.